So I have set myself the goal of earning £50,000 in 1 year by self-publishing a book series. Can I do it? Can I make £50,000 in 1 year? Let's see. So in this video, I wanted to talk about outlining a series, a book series. So if you've got a planned book series, you've got to think hard about where all your particular story beats are going to fall. Now, that's difficult enough if you're just writing one particular book, one standalone book. But when you've got a series to think about, that whole story arc and character arc, story arc has to go over a longer period of time. And if you're writing one book at a time, let's say you're writing a trilogy and you write that over a 5-year period, you've got to continue that arc over that 5-year period. So you've got to really plan it out. Now, what I'm going to say, this is just my opinion. Now, I'm getting this from, I take information from some of the videos that I'm going to give information. I've nicked it off other people who are doing exactly the same as what I'm doing here. The authors talking about their writing process and the writing process in general. So I've nicked certain ideas. So this is not my opinion, but this is just an opinion. So use it, don't use it, that's up to you. It's whatever you feel comfortable with. So when you're outlining a series, it's a good idea to use the 3-act structure. That is the industry standard, really. And you use that to kind of figure out every single beat in your series level story. Now, you're going to want to make sure those beats are rock solid, because if they change, then you're looking at massive changes throughout your entire books. So if you write by the seat of your pants, then this method isn't really going to work for you, because you need to plan everything out. So if you're working by the industry rules, then you've got to think about using potentially like a beat sheet. So once you've filled out your beat sheet, you've got to look at the scope of each of those beats and try and work out where those actual beats are going to fall within each book, over that structure. How do the major beats line up with all of those books, and what beats are there in those books? Now, those series-wide beats are so strong that they're going to have their own magnetic pull. So if they land in a weird place in one of your planned books, there's a chance that it's going to throw off the structure of the whole story, and the rest of the story and the beat is going to feel really off. You may realize that if you're planning in a trilogy that you've planned, the first 2 books you've got in your head, they really only take you up to the midpoint. That really suggests that you are actually writing a quadrilogy and not a trilogy. So this method really is only going to work if your series is going to come to an end and you know where the ending is, and it's only going to be a limited amount of books. Now, if you plan on writing a series that's going to run and run and run, then you really can't apply this. It doesn't really work that way at all, you know. And I know a writer who's released 35 books in a series and he's still going. So he doesn't seem to be bringing that series to an end anytime soon. So this method won't work for anything on that particular scale. Now, having said that, I don't do a lot of outlining myself, which I should do. I'm going to have to get out of that habit of like not doing it, because I'm quite an impatient writer. I just want to get on with it, and I come up with like a brief outline, and then I just go from there and I just write, and I fill in all the gaps, and I'm going along. And I can do that a little bit and get away with it because I've been writing the film scripts for such a long time. I know the kind of the 3-act structure where all the kind of little beats and things should be going, and so I kind of get away with it. But going forward, I think I'm going to have to start, and because I'm trying to do this professionally now, I need to start kind of outlining stuff. Now, the problem that I had when I was writing the first 4 books, as I've mentioned before, is that I didn't plan it out. So what was happening was, when I got to like book 2, 3, 4, I was putting stuff in there which then had a knock-on effect for like books 1, 2, the previous books. So I was having to go back to those books to put in the information, the relevant information, and kind of layer stuff in so it all made sense across all the 4 books. And I couldn't have done that if I just released the first book and I hadn't planned those 4 books. Then I would have had a bit of a problem. I would have been stuck with what I had in book 1. If I'd come up with something better in kind of book 3, 4, whatever, then I would have been stuck with what I've done in book 1. So, moral of the story is you need to outline, plan everything, especially if you're going to do a book series, a limited book series. Plan that all out as much as you can. Get all your little beats in the right place, and then hopefully you can't go wrong.